And we are live, guys. Welcome to another live stream from the Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. Today we are going to handle a very touchy subject, which is the number of women you must smash. Now, just from this title, if you've been around my channel, you understand how not good this title is. So I think we're gonna have a lot of fun in this video. Make sure that you stay tuned and let's get started.
Had I taken my life serious earlier, I'd probably be a billionaire right now. You know what I'm saying? But it took me a while to start getting it together, right? And a lot of that was chasing girls, wasting fucking time. You know what I'm saying?
So I got a quick point because you guys were talking about.
Wow, that first sentence right there, maybe we should just turn off the rest because the rest is not important. That's all you need to know. He said right there, Mike Rashid, have never heard of him before seeing this this episode. I saw it a couple of weeks back, so I don't remember everything. But it really had an impact on me, this video. So I was just like, man, I'm gonna make a reaction video to it. Mike Rashid, at that point, never heard of him. He says in this first sentence right here, he says, man, I could have been a billionaire right now, but it took some time to get my stuff together, blah, blah, blah. And guess what? Most of it was me going after women. Like, doesn't that ring massive alarm bells if you've been around this channel for a while? Like, literally, what is your potential? Like, what could you do if you just put women aside for a period of time and literally just followed the system? The Men of High Value system, where I put you on a fast track towards success by, number one, putting aside women for an extended period of time. Thank goodness, yes, and begin to succeed on your journey. Okay? You're hearing it right now from these guys.
About lying to women and everything else like that.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, we tell guys on our podcast all the time, you need to get your money right, you need to get in shape, and all the no worries, bro. You have to get all these things on point because I tell guys, you become successful not to get girls, but to not deal with the bullshit that inevitably comes from dealing with girls, right? Because when you make money, when you become successful, etc., you're going to have the confidence, which is going to create that abundance mindset that you can walk away from girls that give you some bullshit, and that's inherently going to make you more attractive because men that don't care are more attractive in general. So, but...
Okay, so he's right on that one thing. Men who don't care are more attractive. 100%. Can't disagree with that one. That is literally how we are wired. But we're literally wired for it. Okay, men, the more masculine they become, the more testosterone they get, the more competitive they get, the more of a man they become, the less they care. The more they can just do whatever it is that they need to do in order to get their dreams and goals. And also, they'll probably get the girls that they want as a natural result of them not caring when someone rejects them. Okay, so completely agree on that one. However, what he said before, I don't agree with. And what was that? It was the aspect of leaving a girl. This I have a huge problem with, and we will discuss that throughout this video.
What I will say is we tell guys all the time, at least for me, I tell them you shouldn't even be thinking about a relationship until you have 5 things in place.
Oh my gosh, look at his t-shirt, for crying out loud. It says, when women reschedule, I punish bad behavior? What the flick is that? What is that? Like, why would you need to punish anyone at any time? She might have a good reason for needing to reschedule, and you're gonna punish bad behavior. What if she found out that you were an a-hole on YouTube, and then she just basically doesn't want to meet with you? Oh, I'm gonna punish bad behavior. You're not, like, she's not your property, man. You're just going on a date. That's basically what it means. So you should reschedule, and you're rescheduling a date. Like, what is this? No. Let's keep going.
Which is, make 6 figures a year, have at least 6 months to a year of earnings saved or a combination thereof. You need to be in shape. You need to have had sex with at least 50 girls.
Let's go back, okay? Because this is going to get wild. Number one, he says, in terms of getting girls.
Thinking about a relationship until you have 5 things in place.
You don't think about a relationship before you have these 5 things in place. Don't think about a relationship. Okay, sounds pretty good from the outset. I agree with that one. Don't even think about women before you have X, Y, and Z in place. But what are those things that he suggests?
Which is, make 6 figures a year, have at least 6 months to a year.
6 figures a year. Is that what I recommend? Making 6 figures a year sounds good. But if you don't have access to six figures in savings or investments, in my opinion, that's available cash flow, not in just real estate that you can't easily sell and get access to cash immediately. Like, in my opinion, you should have liquid six figures before you should even think about starting the process of beginning to interact with girls. That's just my opinion, because why would you? You suck if you haven't been able to create that yet. And you need to use that sexual drive that every single man has in his early years especially, but also the older he gets, he still has it as long as he doesn't dissipate it through porn and masturbation. So, which means, like, use that sexual energy in order to drive you and motivate you throughout this difficult journey of rejection, of pain, of blood, sweat, and tears, of building up a business, right? Like, use that sexual drive to do that. Okay? Patrick Bet-David said at some point, he'd had sex with tons of girls, right? Partying and military and blah, blah, blah. And then he came to a point where he was just like, you know what? I'm not going to have sex again before I make $1 million. And he literally did that. It was like, I think it was 17 months or something that he had no sex and he just focused on achieving his goal. That's amazing. Okay? That's the kind of thing I like. Not the fact that he slept with tons of women before then, but the fact that he actually committed to actually being a man and not sleeping around with women, not being in a relationship with anyone, just pure focus on getting stuff done. Amazing. So I agree with Fit, I guess that's what his name is or whatever, on that one. And then he talks about savings.
Year of earnings saved or a combination thereof, things in place, which is make 6 figures a year, have at least 6 months to a year of earnings saved or
6 months of savings saved or something like that. Okay, I can get that. If you combine what I just said about it, 6 figures in total that you've kind of invested, have in liquid available cash, and you're making 10K a month, you can begin looking at it. But it should be from your business, not from a job, okay? That's a crucial difference. And for those of you guys who also know me, I tell you to not start a business, right? In the beginning, when you haven't had experience from business before, I tell you to get 3 jobs and start that process of developing your work ethic, the 80-hour work week. Once you have that discipline, you start that business, you replace the worst job, and then the second job, and the third job until you're free. You've got a massive business. 80-hour work week creates exponential growth. You probably will have those figures no matter what if you follow that process. Is this going a bit too fast? Because they're talking about some really good stuff here.
Combination thereof, you need to be in shape.
In shape, 100%. Why would you not be in shape in general anyway? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Get in shape. But don't spend so much time at the gym that it takes you away from my understanding of the 80-hour work week, right? Exercise can be done 15 minutes a day, literally. Maximum 30 minutes, in my opinion. There's some guys who does 1 hour. It's not necessary, but if it motivates you and drives you to do the 80-hour work week, then fine. Do 1 hour a day. But in general, just be in shape.
You need to have had sex with at least 50 girls, and then you need to be 35 years old at least.
Okay, let's tackle the second one he said. You need to be 35 years old at least before you get into a relationship. I disagree with this one, okay? And the reason why I disagree is because he says before you even think about a relationship. Guess what? Whenever you have any form of casual sexual relationship with a woman, guess what? Casual sexual relationship. That's a relationship right there. You can't say a casual sexual something with the girl. No, it's a relationship. It's a very bad relationship. It's not a recommended relationship. It's a relationship that's going to wreak havoc on her life if you're the most high-value man that's ever been with her. Never, ever sleep with the woman that you're not committed to for life. Okay? I'm standing by that, and I'm going to stick to that forever. It's a principle. It's an eternal principle. You don't do that because you understand female nature. You understand that you have more power than they do. Okay? Well, how can you say that, Joseph? In terms of being able of controlling your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, compared to a woman that is burdened, which happens very often these days, you have more power than them. Which means that you can control yourself more so than a woman can. Whose responsibility is it then to not initiate a sexual relationship? It's your responsibility to not do that. If all men never initiate sexual relationships with women, all women would be virgins. At the time when they commit for life to someone. They don't really commit. They just agree to your commitment, really. They voluntarily are okay with the commitment you've made. Women don't commit, okay? When you say that women actually, we committed to each other to get married. No, you didn't, okay? Because women are conditional. They're conditional creatures, which means that as long as these conditions are met, I will stick around. That's a good thing. People think that that's a bad thing. Oh, women are this and women are that, and you can't trust them these days and all that crap. If you can't trust yourself, yeah, then you can't trust her. If you suck, then yeah, she'll suck too. Or at least her behavior will suck. It's not her who sucks. It's your behavior that caused her behavior to suck. So, you gotta understand how the female brain works. You can actually create an amazing environment for her, and that will cause her to create an amazing environment for you. Because she's conditional. And we're gonna go through that a little bit more. But then he just mentioned it. You have to have sex with at least 50 women before you enter into a relationship. What the hell is this? What is that? What kind of goal is that? It's a douchebag goal, okay? It's a goal of someone who has no understanding of female nature. It's a goal of someone who has instant gratification as a problem. And it's a guy who, in my opinion, will never, ever get the respect of high-value men. High-value men don't sleep with anyone before they've committed to someone for life, right? They don't sleep with women before they're committed for life. So, why on earth would this dude get the respect of those guys? He wouldn't. He'd be looked down upon. He'd be frowned upon, okay? And so would you if you entertained the ideas that he's got. And it causes so many problems. So many potential problems for a guy who has that as a goal. Both physical problems and mental problems. For a long time, I believe that, it really takes a massive toll on women when they have massive amounts of sexual partners. And, maybe men, it doesn't affect them that much. I'm almost changing my mind at this point. It definitely wreaks havoc on men's mental health, okay, and their physical health, maybe even just as much as women. It's just not talked about, and we don't know what actually happens to the guy, but I'm beginning to get a little bit more of experience talking to guys about the problems they have as a result of sleeping with a lot of women, or even just sleeping with the woman that dumps them. They become like girls. And I'm like, is that because he's been sleeping with women? Is that because he's been sleeping with a lot of women? Do men have less of an ability to pair bond with women as a result of having multiple sexual partners? A lot of them? And in my opinion, yes. Do you want to be able to pair bond in the future? And not necessarily pair, okay? Because that assumes that you're going to have just one woman. I'm not for that. I think that's a bad idea. But what I do think that you'd want at some point to be able to retain women and keep them in your life and move forward and create a family and have kids and create your kingdom. That's what you want. But I think you're going to have issues with that. A little bit of issues with that. Maybe even a lot of issues with that. If you've had a lot of sexual partners in the past and you haven't cleaned up your act. Because who can trust you? But anyway, we'll keep going. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Okay, let's see what he has to say in terms of defending his position.
And the reason why I say this is because at this point, you're going to be experienced and vetted enough to be able to maneuver in the modern day marketplace with girls in a way where you're not going to get finessed. Because if you take an average woman that's 21 years old and an average dude that's 21 years old, that chick 9 out of 10 times is going to be far more sexual experience than that guy. And for men, the things that make us attractive take time to procure. Yep. So you need to get to a point where you have experience with women, but you also have the financial standing and the confidence to walk away from women that are toxic to you, and you can discern the difference, most importantly.
What? Do you remember what I said about difficult women, toxic women, burdened women? Okay? If she's burdened and toxic, it's because you're burdened and toxic, or you suck. Right, basically. That's the words I use. There is no such thing as a woman that's massively burdened and toxic and that you should leave, because it's your fault that she's like that with you. Okay, she might be difficult with all other people, but you create a different environment that just completely changes everything for her. Okay? Over time, she's going to give you problems every time, right? Obviously, men in general want to be with women that are unburdened. And that's the level of that we want to get you to, that you are such an amazing guy in every single aspect of life that you only bring into your life women that are ready for it, right? It's like, what's it called? When the master is ready, the student appears. Sometimes people say when the student is ready, the master appears, but it's like it's both ways. But in general, the women are they're the amazing women. The unburdened women, the feminine women, they're just waiting. They're literally waiting. Not for a player, but they're waiting for someone to swoop them off their feet. And they might even be protected by their dad. Wouldn't that be amazing? Instead of you having to sift through all of these modern women who are struggling, these independent women. And it's like, yeah, you might have to talk to a lot of women before you find the ones that you actually want to settle down with and create a life with. You know, but you don't need to do that by sleeping with them. That's messed up. Okay? We'll talk a little bit more about that. How do you go about doing that? But in general, though, it's not your age that determines when you're going to have a relationship. It's you receiving a stamp of approval, in my opinion, for the system that we have in the Men of High Value movement. That's what determines if you're ready or not. And that includes financial options and stability and what's it called? The financial foundation. That includes understanding, a proper understanding of women that can be demonstrated, that it can be proven that you actually understand women. And also the aspect of being trusted by other men, like a whole massive network of men who are voluntary celibate up until the time when they also received a stamp of approval in order for them to go through the aspect of finding women for them to settle down with for life. At some point, you also need to be vetted and trusted by those guys so that we know that you're ready for it. Why is there such a system? Like, for those of you guys who haven't been around my channel, you don't know what I'm talking about. But what I am talking about is a specific family system that's called 3 in Love, where it's 1 man, 3 women, and that's for life. Okay, we're not talking about, oh, you sleeping with multiple women, like these guys are doing. You never ever have sexual relations with the woman you're not committed to for life, but you commit to 3 at the same time as a package who are best friends, and then you stay in the same house together. You make lots of money, they stay together at home with the kids and enjoy their lifestyle, are not working, and are taking care of each other and loving each other, and there's harmony in your home. That's 3 in Love, simply explained. But in order for you to procure that, you need to be trustworthy, you need to have financial means, you need to understand the woman, you need to be trusted by the other guys in the network. We're building something huge here, I love it. Okay, but this kind of behavior is unacceptable. To smash 50 girls and have that as a must. What the flip? You're destroying society, you're destroying yourself, and especially you're destroying these women and their future husbands and their future kids and their future grandkids, etc., etc. How far do you want to take it? The only person that can heal that woman after that is her husband. And because she has now a harder time pair bonding with him as a result of you smashing her, that's not good, okay? You created a problem when you slept with her. That's not how it's supposed to be. Yeah, I got kids in this apartment. I got 3 kids, okay? and sometimes they yell. So you're gonna hear that. Let's go.
So we always say that's what you need in place. You get the success, then you get the girls. But with that said, about minor girls,
I like these things, but I have a problem with the 50 have sex with 50 women.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so he likes these. There's some of them I agreed with. Some of them I did not agree with at all. Just one update on the 35-year-old thing. In my opinion, if you start this process that I explained on this channel at the age of 13 or 14, and you start actually becoming actively part of the network, you quit school. Why would you be at school in general anyway? Make sure you get permission from your parents. Use the quit school video that I've outlined how teenagers should talk to their parents about getting out of school, okay? Crucial information so that you can be homeschooled, take care of business. Build businesses from the age of 13, 14, man. You'll be far ahead of your competition, at least those your age, but also people who are 60 years old. Okay? Like, you can fix that in the beginning of your life, in your teenage years, and be a millionaire by the age of 18. Guess what? If you have the trust of the network and the understanding of female nature, and you can get your stamp of approval when you're 18, why not? Like, literally, your life is set. It's amazing. It's going to be awesome. Okay? That's what I'm saying. So that was an update on the 35-year-old. You don't have to wait till you're 35 to start 3 in love. Okay, if you've got the stamp of approval. You can start at 18. For crying out loud. You know what I mean? So, but anyway. What he has a problem with, Mike, and I like how he kind of stands up for women in this one. He doesn't really do it, but he puts on an effort without being disrespectful to the other guys. I would probably be very disrespectful. Would I, though? I guess if I was in their presence, I'd probably speak in a, more well-mannered, let's debate this. Let's talk about this. He calls this a debate. They're not having a debate. They're not going to have a debate. But if I was there, I probably wouldn't debate it either. I would just be firm on my principles and just explain that this ain't right. Like, have you considered the consequences of all these women that, this messed up? Anyway, what does Mike say on this?
I'm going to tell you why.
We can talk about that.
Motherfuckers going to take that the wrong way, bro.
Let's see if the sound is working, and I sure hope it does. Let's see. Okay. He says people are going to take it the wrong way. Let's see.
Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, I just need to fuck at least 50 girls. Think about
not tricking though. Not like prostitution and stuff. Like,
I'm not even saying that.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying the amount of energy a motherfucker will spend. Because look, all of that shit you said makes sense, but you know that a lot of things are hard to do.
Of course.
But you should do it.
Yep.
But they're gonna gravitate to what they want to do the most. Fuck 50 women.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see that? That's the problem with that list. All the guys are gonna gravitate, just like Mike says, towards the thing that's also the easiest to do, by the way. Okay? And they're gonna gravitate towards the thing that is immediate gratification. I want reward right now. Reward before I do the work that's necessary to become a man of high value. So he's saying right there, it's messed up, man. Like, you can't tell them that that's the number, like, that's part of the list. And I agree.
You know that. You know there's a bunch of motherfuckers out there right now, like 50 women. All right, say less.
Yeah.
That's the first thing they're gonna try.
But
to
that's
mark
lifetime
off.
though.
Yeah.
That's not that much. If you look at it like you could do
that's
that.
That's a lot to dudes that don't get pussy.
That is true. That is true. But the reason why I say 50, and I'll tell you why. Like, I mean, if it's like 45 or something like that, you're still good.
You get a.
It's messed up.
But,
yeah,
it's a variance. But the reason why I say 50 is because I know that as a guy, if you've gotten with 50 girls, more than likely you're gonna understand female nature to a point where you could take a girl from, how do I say this, dating potential to like a serious relationship. And the reason why I say that is because my thing is I just don't want guys to get manipulated through sex.
Yep.
So girl game.
If you don't sleep with them, you're not gonna be manipulated by it. The very fact that you have complete, utter sexual control and keeping it in your pants shows that you're never ever going to be manipulated by pussy. The only way that you're gonna be manipulated by it if you actually engage in it. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's no reason for you to be manipulated by women, no matter what. If you've actually control yourself, if you never ever watch porn, if you don't masturbate, and you practice SR to the nth degree, how on earth would a woman manipulate you? She wouldn't. It would be impossible. The thing is that the guys who actually practice the things that I preach have way more control in terms of their thoughts, emotions, and behaviors than any of these guys could ever dream of having, because they actually are struggling to practice delayed gratification. Okay? Obviously, they've succeeded in other parts of their lives, but the very fact that they're sleeping around in that masses of amounts, like, it's... Imagine how successful they could have been. Literally. And also, imagine how happy they could have been. Like, that's really probably the biggest aspect. When you sleep with 50 girls, you're also dumping 50 girls or 49 girls or whatever it is that they're saying. Which means that you're literally, and if you're hey, all of us believe that we're the highest value man, right? And especially if you leave a girl, you suddenly become the highest value man in that woman's life very often. Not always, very often that's what happens. Which means that if you leave those 49, what do you think those 49 are going to do for a long period of time? They're going to think about you. Oh, well, I kind of like it because it's for my ego and it's kind of overblown and I like it this way. That's messed up. Like, you don't want to be destroying women's lives and their futures and then be obsessed with you because you don't want to spend time with them and because you don't want them in your life. She tries to contact you again and again and again because that's how women operate when you reject them. And then very often, oh man, she's too much. And then you block her. I can promise you that this guy and maybe others, in this discussion have blocked tons of girls, okay, after sleeping with them. It's messed up. Who do you think these girls are going to be thinking about for a long period of time? Exactly. So you're literally going around breaking young girls' hearts like Michael Jackson talking about, okay? And it's nothing to be proud of. Like, you're literally a homewrecker. She will be unable to properly pair bond with her future husband. Those kids will see their parents fighting again and again and again and again and again. Oh, there's a divorce. Oh, next family. Oh, have to separate 2 Christmases. Oh, now, domestic violence. Oh, all of the crap that happens in a woman's life very often has its root from the bad experiences that she had in her teenage years and in her 20s. Maybe even before then. But sexual promiscuity, which is caused by men, is the biggest reason why women have problems in their lives. So, if you haven't seen my Casual Sex is Russian Roulette for Women video, please do watch that one. And if you're still sleeping around with girls, watch it 10 times. Because you haven't understood female nature. It's what's so funny about this, guys, because he literally mentions, oh, if they've slept with 50 girls, then they kind of understand female nature. How can he say that when he has no understanding of female nature? Do you get what I'm saying? What do you need to know about female nature? I can share that with you, but I have an entire channel dedicated to exactly just that. It's found in the description. It's called the Women of High Value channel. It teaches you everything about female nature. But if you want an organized approach, and where you can ask questions back and forth with me, become a client of mine. Okay, I have 10 clients right now, a few more spots available, and you get a chance to actually really, truly understand the depths of female nature there. Because we'll start with understanding you. And guess what? You are female nature in your feminine state. You're a girl. The vast majority of the time, most men these days are simply put girls. You want to understand female nature? Understand yourself. Seriously. Oh, I can't control myself. Oh, I have to watch porn. Oh, I have to masturbate. Oh, I relapsed again. Oh, what do I do? And you're tossed to and fro with every wind of doctrine. And you're having issues with this and with your relationships and with that and blah, blah, blah. And all this is so difficult. Emotional upheaval. All of the crap that happens in your life that has to do with emotions, that's you being a girl. The moment you can control your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, you're a man. Or at least, obviously, this is a journey, right? You're not going to arrive tomorrow, the next day, or in 1 year, 10 years, 20 years. Maybe you won't even arrive throughout your entire lifetime, because there is no such thing as arrival when it comes to masculinity and becoming a man. That's a progressive journey of controlling your thoughts, emotions, and behavior. So we all start out, boys and girls start out as girls, okay? In terms of our emotions, in terms of our hormonal levels, in terms of, not being able to control ourselves. But over time, we have the potential to learn how to become men. And the definition for masculinity, according to our understanding on this channel, is the ability to control your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors at all times, independent of circumstances. Independent of circumstances. You really think these guys are able to do that? Interesting question. But in general, that's your job. Control yourself. And don't ruin and break society. The whole reason why this issue out there today, the societal problems, the world problems that are happening these days, is because of this. Women being burdened. That's what causes the political uprising and issues that we have in society today. This thing that's going around these days, that you have to get, those mandates, whatever, that's because women are burdened. Oh, I need safety. Why? Because they need the government as their father and husband to provide and to protect. And that's when we get tyranny. That's when we get authoritarian regimes, because the women like it and they vote for it, for crying out loud. While masculine men want freedom. Feminine women want safety. You begin to see how this works. You're a girl if you want safety first before freedom. Do you get what I'm saying? Anyway, it's been 3 minutes of the video. It's I hope you guys are enjoying the points I'm putting out, but let's keep going.
Game, and I'm going to say it, they could get mad at me, whatever. 9 out of 10 times, girl game is this. Let me leverage my sexuality against this man for some kind of compliance, whether it's time, resources, money, attention, whatever it is. That's what girl game is. Finessing my sexuality for leverage against men, right? This is why we have a sugar daddy culture, whatever. Guys want sex and women know that, so they're going to do whatever they can to squeeze out as much as they can and not give up the sex, right?
How much power does a woman have over a man who's made a commitment to be voluntary celibate until he commits to 3 women at the same time as a package for life? How much control and power does a woman have over a guy who is committed to that type of lifestyle before that lifelong commitment? They have zilch, zero, nada. They don't have any form of power. That's what's so powerful about the system. Okay? You want to be in that position where they have no power over you. You want to be the one in power. Well, welcome to Men of High Value.
So, what I want is guys to be in a position where the allure of pussy won't make them do stupid things to commit to a girl, because whether men want to know it or not, men by default have to bring far more to the table than women do when it comes to relationships. Sure. Period. They do. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
Default's law is real. As soon as you stop giving value as a man, girls are going to look the other way. It is what it is. 80% of divorces are initiated by women. Women initiate most breakups. It's a fact at this point. So, since we know that men have to bring more to the table, you also have more at risk. So, since you have more
agreed
risk, you do not want something stupid like pussy to fuck up your life. So, I know that at least if you've dealt with 50 girls, you're going to understand female nature to what I would say, like at least an intermediary standpoint, where you're not going to get married to a girl that's going to destroy you. You're not going to shack up with a girl that's going to destroy you. And hell, you could still get her at that point with 50, but I'm saying bare minimum so you know what you're doing and how to deal with women in a general sense, because so many guys are willing to put their nuts on a chopping block for a girl that quite frankly doesn't bring value because they're not sexually experienced to discern, yo, this chick is useless outside a box.
Even in religion, they talk about it. Women destroy kingdoms and kings because, once again, you have to understand, look, most women are not.
Even in religion. It's just funny how they even have the audacity to even bring that word up. Like when they talk like this. It's crazy.
They're for you. They're there for what they can get from you and get out of you.
Facts.
So at the same time,
this is human nature, period.
yes, but let's be honest here, right? Men have to bring value first, and they have a lot to lose. So women will say, hey, you know what? This guy is tall, attractive, in shape, but he's broke. This guy over here is a guy in computer and tech. You know, I'll take him, marry him, take his money, and go with this guy. So I'm just saying.
We leaving something out, though. We leaving something very important out.
Okay.
Most men knock up a woman and do it moving. So, yeah. Oh, women can fuck up your life, da-da-da-da. But most men fuck up women's lives. We're not acknowledging that. And we all know once a woman have kids, it's kind of like...
But that comes back to
a lot of people.
That's the woman's fault, though.
That's her choice.
Now they're getting interesting. Mike is bringing a very important point up. The men are sleeping with women, impregnating them, on the move, and leaving. And now Fit he actually comes on and says that's the woman's fault, though. Hear his ridiculous claims of why it's the woman's fault.
That's the thing. Like, if a woman is a single mom, it's their fault.
It's her choice.
It's their fault.
Her body, her choice.
I got hit with a lot of heat for that, for saying like.
So responsibilities off the guy?
When that semen comes out and it's inside her body, it's her choice.
It's
her
on
body,
her,
her choice.
100%.
I can't make her do anything. Hey, if you want to have it, that's up to you, but I don't want it.
Like, my thing is,
I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike, for having a problem with that. I have a huge problem with that.
I knew that was gonna be
controversial.
controversial.
It's like, why go up in a woman raw if you know that if she's pregnant, you're not gonna want to deal with it? Like,
why go with the woman at all if you don't want to take responsibility? Like, it's a huge responsibility you're taking on. Well, no, I could just have sex with it. You don't understand the repercussions, the long-term repercussions, whether they actually become visible to you at that point or not, or a few weeks later, or whatever happens. But there's also invisible forces going on here. There's also mental health issues. There's also the issues of not being able to get the thing that a woman actually wants. Or you having issues because you don't trust women anymore because you keep sleeping with them and then you see how they act and blah, blah, blah. And suddenly you don't trust them and she cheated on her boyfriend with you and all that stuff. It's your fault, okay? It'll always be the man's fault, 100% of the time. It's not the woman's fault that the man sleeps with her at all, ever. It's the man who's responsible. Why? Because I've explained it already. He has more control over himself. He's the one who initiated. The vast majority of the time, women don't initiate. Vast majority of the time. Does it happen that women initiate? Yes. Is it the man's responsibility to say no? Yes. Okay? It's never a woman's fault. And if you do say that it's the woman's fault, then you're basically saying that she has power over you and that you are a weakling and that you are a victim. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
that's not cool at all. Like, even if that's not your intention, if it happens, motherfuckers should
Let's
really
be real
do
here,
it.
Mike. What do most women want? Raw sex. Even though they know off rip they can get pregnant.
I'm like, but you just said that, shit is rocky. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and I said, listen, I'm going to tell you something. The baby is not going to bring y'all closer. It's going to push y'all further apart because the baby makes it very unsexy. It's very taxing on the nerves, on the relationship. Y'all shit is already shaky. I don't think it's a good idea. And you're not financially stable. And I don't think, it doesn't look like this guy.
Mike actually tries to listen to women and seeks to understand them. This is why he's on women's side on this topic. I very, very much so doubt that Fit actually is listening, not only listening, but also caring about their actual response. Because he might have been tainted with the, don't listen to what they say, look at what they do type of crap that he listens, that he's heard from the manosphere and red pill, whatever. Okay? Yeah, but you also need to understand what's happening with their emotions. That's what actually understanding female nature means. That you understand their emotions, the cause and effect of this happens to her, her emotions are going to do this. That's truly what female nature is. Being able to, create an expectation and then to fulfill that expectation so that she's happy at all times. And you're responsible for that as well. Okay? And people will be like, no, hell no, she's responsible for her own happiness, blah, blah, blah. Really? Okay? Are you a god or are you not? Are you not going to be one? Okay, don't you want worship? Okay, then take 100% responsibility and be sure to figure out how to actually make that happen. You're responsible. You can do it. It's going to take a lot of, work, a lot of research, and a lot of understanding of how all this works. You're still responsible, man. Always.
I'm going to stick around, right? She kept it. The guy did it moving. You know what I'm saying? And it's on the woman to an extent. However, dudes can't be doing that shit, bro. That shit is not good for society. It's not okay.
Thank you, Mike. It's not the woman's fault at any extent, though. Any.
Here's the thing.
Because look.
Okay, go ahead.
Because these guys are doing that, creating all of these guys that don't know what the fuck to do and how to treat
Single
women.
mother households are a huge predicator for degeneracy in the West in general. Single mother households, it's statistically proven, drug addicts, criminals, degenerates in general, people that just are burdens on society come from single mother households. But here's the thing, man. Pro-choice.
Do you see what he says? Smash 50 girls. And yeah, single mothers is one of the biggest problems in society. Like, how does that go together? I actually made the calculation. I made some raw math, okay? If you just imagine 1 billion men, okay? I'm just taking the statistics. Obviously, there's approximately 4 billion men, 4 billion women. Obviously, there's very old people there and very small kids involved in that number as well. But let's just use that. Let's just say that all of them are adults in the sexual age, blah, blah, blah. Okay? 1 billion men, let's say 25% of the men, right, are the only ones to sleep with women. That might actually be a fact, by the way, that they sleep with all of the women. And then obviously there's tons of women that don't have sex at all. So there's women, let's say 50% of them are sleeping with all of those 1 billion men. Does that make sense? But let's just, for this case study, say that all 4 billion women are sleeping with that 1 billion men. And if those 1 billion men chose to smash 50 girls, okay, obviously these women would be going on a rotation, right? Just like men go on rotations with girls, when men are players, the women are the rotation, right? So what actually would be the number of partners per girl in that type of society? Okay? It would be 1 billion men, 4 billion women, 1 billion men smash 50 girls, okay? You'll find out that it's approximately 12 plus partners, male, sexual partners per woman in that equation, in that math problem. You see how bad for society that is? Men sleep with 50, and each of those women sleep with 12 men. And all of those men are top 25% of society in terms of what they feel is handsome or worthy of their love, blah, blah, blah. That's destruction of society right there. Because what you'll find is that any woman that has 10 plus sexual partners throughout her, early lifetime, she's going to have difficulties to pair bond. She's going to have issues in her marriage as a natural result of the pain of comparison. And she's going to be burdened in such a way that she's obsessed with everything else except her family. Everything else is going to create a lot of problems for each individual woman. See how messed up that is? And then the worst part is that these guys, on a different video that they made, I'm not going to find that now, but they literally say that, men would prefer women with very low partner counts. We'd preferably 0. And I'm just like, how does that add up? The hypocrisy is real, man. It's like you sleep with tons of women and saying that you should be sleeping with at least 50. I mean, but it's a lifetime. It's a long time that you have to sleep with 50. It's not that hard. And then you turn around and say that women should have low partner counts. The math doesn't add up, man. You see that? Comment down below if you have any comments on this.
Comes with pro accountability. So the thing is, because I got in a big ass debate with a woman about this, actually on the show that you were on, and she was trying to say, oh, it's a problem. My thing is,
pro-choice brings pro-accountability. Really? Okay, yes, it is her body, and yes, she does have the responsibility for the child if you leave her. But who's responsible for you leaving her with that child? And why on earth would you, as a masculine man, not want that child if she wants it? That's sick. Were you weak? You can't provide for that child if she wants it? Do you see how nonsensical it is to start talking about pro-accountability? Yes, pro-choice. She's able to choose. And you know what women are going to choose. If they're unburdened, women will always want to keep the baby. Because they're mothers. They have a natural maternal instinct. They're unburdened. They're feminine, man. The more feminine a woman becomes, the more of a mother she wants to be. The more burdened she is, meaning the more masculine she is, the less of a mother she wants to be. The masculine women automatically choose abortion. The more she becomes a girl, the more she becomes a woman, like feminine, the less she'll want an abortion. You gotta see how all this works. Women are natural. They're natural mothers. It's amazing how simple life becomes once you understand. You truly understand female nature and not this gibberish that they're coming out with here.
This. If I give someone $1 million, right? They have $1 million. But I have no say-so in how they spend the money, and then they end up 5 years later being broke and then coming back and screaming at me saying like, yo, you're responsible for this money. But I was like, I had no control of the money, but you're responsible for me being broke now. That's how it sounds when women try to say, I decided to have the kid, but let me blame the single dad. Here's the thing. Women date up and women are hardwired to look for security for a reason.
Now he's going to talk about female nature? Really? They want security. Hardwired for it. You hear what he's saying? Hardwired, i.e., less control. Less control over themselves. Hardwired, okay? If they're loosely wired, it could go either way. Hardwired means they don't have control over what they choose. For security. Men have 100% responsibility, and because of that, they have 100% accountability.
They're biologically designed to look for the best man, but the problem is that some guys have the game and they're able to circumvent that filter and get it in and leave.
Do you see that? Some guys have the ability to circumvent that filter and manage to get it in and leave. Why do you think that is? Because women cannot control themselves in a burdened state or in an alcoholic state or whatever state you want to put in there, okay? Men have the control. And if you're an amazing man, and you know you're an amazing man, she's going to be attracted to you like, do you get what I'm saying? She won't be able to control her attraction to you. Isn't that what you want in the first place? Really? Like, think about it. At some point in the future, my dream and my vision is that my woman is so attracted to me that she just comes to me and she just sticks with me and she can't go anywhere because she's so in love with me and she's obsessed with me, etc., etc. Because she chooses? Or because you've made a choice to be amazing? She doesn't have a choice in the matter. If she's turned on, if she's in love with you, she has no choice in the matter. It happens to her. Just like her period happens to her. She doesn't choose it. In the same way, love, lust, whatever happening to a woman's brain when it comes to romantic relationships, she has no control over it. Now, this is a good thing because women actually like that. Women have the greatest joy and pleasure when they're able to surrender and to let go. Meaning that she has no control over what's happening. She's emotionally all over the place. Fantastic. We want that. How would a bedroom experience be with the woman who has complete, utterly control over her thoughts, emotions, and behaviors? Not very fun. You get what I'm saying? Women are wired for that. But it requires a man to understand what actually creates the environment for her to be ecstatic outside of her brain. And these guys don't know. Because the moment a woman doesn't behave or think or does or says the things that they want, they leave. So they never truly seek for understanding. They literally give up on women instead of going deep. Right? In business, you go wide and you go deep. But if you continuously go wide, meaning multiple partners, you'll never get a complete understanding of the things that each individual needs. How can you provide properly as a masculine man if you don't know what their emotional needs are? For that, you need to go deep. And guess what? It's the deepest relationships in our lives that literally creates the happiness that you desire. It's the deepest relationships in our lives that determines the happiness that you desire. So, you understand how this works now? And, watch this video again. Understand the philosophy. Understand. Because the moment you do understand it, you will be so empowered by the philosophy. Taking 100% responsibility is empowering. Leaving the responsibility over to someone else, I'm a victim. You don't want to be a victim in your life. You want to be able to have full control over your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. And you'll notice when you begin to have that, the environment surrounding you will be in your control. But voluntarily, people will come to you and stay with you because you're amazing. That's what you want.
And it's on the woman to be able to discern if this man is a good potential bet for security with a child. And since women have the tool of abortion and they have the right to be able to abort any baby, men have zero reproductive rights in the United States. Women have all the authority of who gets born and who gets aborted.
Changing. That's changing.
Yeah, but right now on the books, as of today, women have 100%. And once the semen leaves you, you have zero rights. So since you have zero rights, the woman has 100% authority, and with authority comes responsibility. And this.
Why is the semen leaving you in the first place? Why are you in bed with this woman? Okay, I've berated this over and over again, so you guys don't need to listen to that again.
With modern day women is that a lot of them will fight me on this, saying like, no, it's both of our faults because you impregnated me. No, you choose who has sex. Women universally pick who has sex.
So y'all say it's only on the woman.
100% because she chooses who gets aborted and who doesn't. So it's her body. I have zero say in it. So therefore, it's her choice. But with that choice comes responsibility. You cannot have 100% authority and then try to take only 50% of the responsibility. That doesn't make sense. It's ridiculous.
Even the women are wrong. And when they say that it's 50-50, you impregnated me. No, the man, again, 100% responsible for even entering the sphere of having sexual relations with that woman. Man, always.
And it's just like, it's
yeah. I can tell you right now, right? I married a single mom, right? I did single moms back in the day for sure. And I understand this, right? I asked all them the same question. Why did you choose this guy to have a baby for? Oh, I was in a moment. I loved him. But he was a bum. And my question is, okay, if you want to be with a guy, why choose a bum? And it's love.
If you guys have the question of why do women choose those guys? Why don't they choose these guys instead? Again, go on the Women of High Value channel, subscribe there, or become a client and I'll answer all of your individual questions for months to come.
It's emotional, right? But at the same time, she could have chose, hey, you know what? This guy's not going to be there for me. He's going to be bad for me. This is not what I should do for my life.
Women can't choose that. She's hardwired for a reason.
And I asked her, are you really happy? No, she's like, I have big regrets. And that's the majority of women, but they'll never say it out in public. So right. I'm just saying, look, at some point, yes, the man has to come inside of you or whatever pre-ejaculation to get you pregnant. But at the same time, after that fact, what do you do next? You just say, oh, you know what? Hopefully it'll work out. This world doesn't work on hope. It works on reality. Yeah, so the point is, if you choose a bum, and you have a kid with a bump.
So we expecting.
I'm not saying it's right for the man to walk away. I want to make that very clear too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying it's right that the man walks away.
Right.
If you had a kid, you should take care of it. But I don't operate on feelings. I operate on reality. The reality is a lot of dudes are going to run. They're not going to be there. So the woman needs to be intelligent to know if I'm going to have...
No. Yes, that is reality. I understand that. And most men won't care about specifically this message that is going to get 100 or 200 views or whatever it's going to get. However, can we, over time, create a society where men do not have access to women whatsoever when they are bums? Yes, we can. How? 3 in love. Okay? My goal is to unburden women and children as much as flippin' possible. Okay? When players are around, that's impossible. Like, women will become burdened by players. Always. So we have to find a way of eradicating players without eliminating them, if that makes sense. Okay? How do we make players non-players? The only way, and this is the only way, is to reintroduce polygyny, or, in other words, the system of 3 in love as we teach on this channel and the Women of High Value channel. Why? Because women are going to be elevated, and obviously we take the most beautiful women off the market, right? First, that would obviously be what's happening. Over time, there's no more beautiful women on the market. Okay, so the players only have, the remaining girls left. At some point, guess what? We'll still continue taking 3 off the market. 3 off the market, 3 off the market. And eventually the players are, oh, holy crap, I have no one to sleep with. Oh, what do I do? They can't kick the guy's ass who has 3 women because that guy can kick 2 guys' asses immediately. Like, no problem, okay? Because he's got power, he's got confidence, and he also qualified to have those 3 girls. What needs to happen now is that this player needs to gain the trust. And when a player is a player, he'll never get the trust of a high-value man, right? Over time, who is it that reproduces? Well, it's high-value men who have 3 in love. So over time, they're the only ones that have daughters. And these guys will be very careful about who actually gets access to their daughter and who commits to his daughter for life, together with the 2 other women, right? So these fathers will have, together, obviously, it's not arranged marriage, but together with their daughter, they're going to choose from, a select short list of guys who actually qualify, who are trustworthy. Players will never be trustworthy. It's impossible for them to become trustworthy because they're girls. They have immediate gratification and they can't control themselves. Okay, so over time, this is going to become a fantastic society whereby women's hypergamy is in control, women's value is massively elevated, women literally actually don't have to control themselves because the environment and society around them actually creates an environment where they don't have to control themselves. And the cool part is that when a woman is unburdened, she actually can control herself. Isn't that amazing? Okay? This is how you create an amazing society. This is how you create, what I would call heaven on earth, where there are no players. There is no people who sleep around because we have a system to make sure that doesn't happen. And it's in a way that there's no law. You don't even have to have it as a law. In the past, that was a law. You couldn't sleep with anyone unless you guys were married. That's not a law anymore. And guess what? In a 3 in love society, it wouldn't be a law, but it would be common practice to only sleep with someone that you've committed to for life because it's set up that way. And when a guy turns 12 years old, 13, 14 years old, he's not looking for a girl that he can take into his private bedroom. What he's going to be thinking about is, dang, I need to make myself trustworthy. I need to make sure that I actually get the trust of this man and this man and this man. I want all their daughters, right? The 3 daughters that they have, blah, blah, blah. And I need to get ready. Society transforms, becomes amazing.
Have a kid, is this man going to stick around? More than likely, no. And this is why I think it's so important to have fathers.
Yeah.
It used to be the father was a critical component in mate selection.
Yeah.
He will make sure that the person that she fucked was going to be in that baby's life. But since we don't have...
Did you just notice that's exactly what I just explained? He's explaining the exact same stuff. I teach a lot of the same things that these guys do. You know the difference? I actually understand that women will suffer, and also men will suffer, and children will suffer, and whole society will suffer as a result of men sleeping around with a bunch of women. They don't understand that. So they actually can't see the big picture. But once you understand the big picture, it makes sense now. Exactly. And not only does it make sense, but it actually is duplicatable. You could create an amazing society from this. Libertarian society, actually. Because women very often vote for what their amazing husbands vote for. So life would be amazing. And it will be. This is the beginning of something huge.
We have so many fatherless homes. Men aren't involved in the reproductive process, and the mating process, and the marriage process anymore. Women are left to their own devices. People get mad at me all day. I don't care. Women, when left to their own devices, typically...
You see that? People can get mad at me all day. I don't care. This is where he uses his I don't care to his demolition. Because not caring when you're wrong, okay, causes you to never learn what's actually right. And when you never learn what's actually right, you're left behind eventually because you're like, why don't you understand this? Why don't you understand that women are not designed to be smashed 12 times, like by 12 different guys or by 50 different guys? Like, do you understand that that's bad? I don't understand that, because he wants to keep doing it, right? He'll never accept something. A player, understand this. A player who slept around with a bunch of women is going to have a hard time accepting the fact that maybe I should stop. It becomes addictive over time. And he's also more likely to cheat in the future because marriage wasn't what he thought it was, etc., etc. Very sad world, very sad place for the player. And I've even made a couple of videos about it. One time is the one video is the miserable life of a player, and the second one is a personal message to Dan Bilzerian. If you haven't checked those out, check those out.
We make bad decisions when it comes to relationships. They pick the fuckboy, they pick the guy that's not going to be emotionally invested long term, etc. Because women are aroused by long-term security.
Do you see that? Did you just note it? He says it himself. Women are not aroused by it. You really think that they are in control of what arouses them? Just in the same way that you cannot control if you're attracted to a woman who's a 3 or who's a 1 or who's a 4. He's like, I'm not attracted to that girl. Yeah, was that a choice you had? Or was that something that happened to you? Okay? You're wired that way. Hardwired for beautiful women. Guess what? Women are exactly the same. But men can actually control it and override it if they choose to. Women can't.
They're aroused by instant gratification sexually. And especially in today's society, that's what society perpetuates. You know, get the bad boy, get the fuck boy, whatever.
So I think that the issue here...
I'm just finishing the video because we've come this far anyway. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video though.
It's levels, right? So it's gotta, like, just dating, this, that, and a third, it's gotta be a levels up above that of consciousness with men. Because we can't expect a woman to think like a man. Because everything you're saying is very rational, but you, like, why did you get with him? He's a bum.
Mike is really getting into that right now. Do you see that? There needs to be a higher level of consciousness among the men. Thank you, Mike. And then he says that what you're saying is very rational. It's not, though. If you actually understand the full picture and the truth, what Fit was saying is not rational at all. It's not rational to believe that women should control themselves and that they have all the power in relationships. They don't. It's not rational to believe that if you understand female nature. Okay, but in general, what Mike is saying, I like what he's saying now.
You know why? Because he's convincing. Like, men are bigger than women, right? I'm saying that in a literal and a figurative way. More expressive, more convincing. You know what I'm saying? Nah, baby. Like, I know girls that are dope, educated women that fuck dudes. I know. I'm like, how'd that happen?
Yeah.
He complimented me every day, and I don't know. I'm like, wow, that shit works. You know what I'm saying? So,
Do you see that? Can they control themselves? No.
it's like any man, I don't give a fuck. Any man can have any woman that he wants if he tries hard enough, right?
He just said it right there. And they agreed. Did you hear that? I want you guys to really, truly hear this. Because once you actually hear what they say and what they believe, they're contradicting themselves absolutely, completely, all of the time. Listen to this one more time.
So, I don't give a fuck. Any man can have any woman that he wants if he tries hard enough, right?
Any man can have any woman that he wants if he tries hard enough. And the guys are like, yeah. Doesn't that explain what I've talked about this entire video? And they believe it. Like, it blows my mind that they can't see it. If any man can have any woman at any time if he actually tries and hard enough, that must mean she cannot control herself. That must mean that a man has more power. That must mean that a man is more rational. That must mean that a man is the one who's 100% responsible at all times and in all places when it comes to sexual relationships with women. Always. Remember this.
Right. Yeah. So, does he deserve that? Like, nah, not necessarily, right? But sometimes women, man, they just... a man's presence, and who knows if she's absent of a father, and you know what I'm saying, a lot of women don't know how to really respect a man or know what a strong man looks like if they didn't have that in the household.
That's why father's so important.
100%. So us knowing that, you know, like guys that plan to have children, it's a 50-50 chance that you'll have a daughter.
Yep.
Unless you don't give a fuck, your daughter could be subjected to a lot of bullshit, because there's a lot of bullshit going on now. So here's my thing. I don't necessarily disagree with anything you guys are saying or stand for.
I did, 100%.
However, a lot of the energy, I feel like, needs to go to guys' accountability too. And what are we doing here? Are we only out just to date and not taking anything serious? Or are we thinking serious and thinking long term, right?
Thank you.
Let me add to that real quick. So we tell guys all the time, right? Look, yeah, you want to go in there and smash girls, but at the same time, don't just pick a random girl like that. I'm just saying, look, if you like the girl and you want to see where it goes, go with that flow. Don't go like, oh, I'm just going to smash her because I want to smash her. Have some intent behind the dating. Make sure you say, you know what, vet her first. And we say vet for like a year at least. If you want to take her seriously, vet her for a year.
Vet her means sleep with her and find out if she's good for long term. No. Vetting her means... if you, like in today's world, obviously you have to date, but go through the process that I just explained in the beginning of this video, and then later, once you actually want to set up 3 in love, then you interact with a lot of girls. You have to do that. And then you'll be able to find your 3 from there. But in my opinion, it should come after the stamp of approval and following the system and the coaching that we get from the Men of High Value system.
See who she truly is, because people tell you who they are. You just got to listen to it, right? Mm-hmm. And at the same time, date for long term, but understand that, hey, you know what? Let's go on a bet that she might be for the streets. That way you're not going to...
No woman should ever be for the streets.
Don't leverage too much. You're going to be safe, but at the same time, you can see who she really is as a person and then go from there. But a lot of guys, they just want to get laid. They want to have sex, and I get it, but you got to understand, look, it's way more downsides to doing it than upsides. So just keep that 100%. In mind.
That's what I wanted to share with you guys. I hope that you see where I'm coming from and trying to explain that. It became a very long video, but I don't mind. You know, like, for those of you guys who actually take this stuff seriously, it will change your life. And it will actually put you in a happier state of mind forever. Okay? Because you're actually setting up something beautiful long term. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.